Hi, my name is CJ, and today we are going to be doing an iPhone 5S screen replacement. For this project, you're going to need a pair of tweezers, a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, some plastic pry tools, a SIM card tray opener, and either a suction cup or an iCESMO. I prefer a razor blade instead. And if you have one, use a heat gun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and power down the device, and I'm going to remove my watch and put on some gloves to prevent static discharges. Okay, so now let that power down. Put on my watch. Put on my glove. Okay. Before we get started, I'm going to remove the SIM card tray. That is located on the right side of the device. Pop that out like so and place that to the side. Next, you're going to use your pencil lobe screwdriver and remove the two pentalobe screws on the bottom of the device on opposite sides of the charger port. I prefer magnetic tools, but if you don't have magnetic tools, it's good to keep a pair of tweezers because it makes things a whole lot easier. Okay. Next, I'm going to use a razor blade and pry open the screen. For 5S's, I wouldn't recommend you use a razor blade because it has the thumbprint sensor on the bottom. But I've been doing this for a while, so I'm comfortable using a razor blade. You find a nice spot at the bottom of the phone. Just work your way in. Try not to use too much pressure because you don't want to snap the razor blade and you don't want to chip anything outside the phone. Okay, once it's lifted up, you get a plastic pry tool. And lift it up the rest of the way. You want to be careful not to lift it up too much because again the 5S's have the thumbprint sensor cable that is connected directly into the logic board at the bottom of the device. And while that is in, you use your plastic pry or your metal pry tool just for a little leverage. Just like so. Then you get your plastic pry tool and you're going to loosen up the clips on the side of the device. There are 3 clips on both sides of the device. And so, you remove those. As you can see, this device has open space on the top of the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of masking tape and I'm going to cover that up so I can get that up a whole lot easier. If I can just find the opening. don't need a lot of tape, you just need enough tape to cover the areas that are exposed unless the whole screen is shattered. In that case, you want to make sure that majority of the screen is covered. Just make sure that the home button is not. So place that on top like so. Let me get my razor blade and clean up the phone. Next, I'm going to raise the screen, gently lift up the sensor that's covering the connector part. And you want to gently pop that up. Be careful not to rip it, otherwise your iPhone 5S just turns into an iPhone 5. Okay, so you want to try not to stretch the screen so much because there are still connectors connected that you need to remove. But removing those connectors, it is always best to remove the power supply. That helps prevent any electrostatic discharge. Unfortunately, I don't have my normal set of screwdrivers. If you can't get the battery off, it is not a big deal. You just want to make sure that you don't turn on the power button. Otherwise, you might have a potential problem there. So we're going to go ahead and work on removing these connectors that are secured by a metal plate located in the upper right corner. When placing the screwdrivers to the side, it is best to keep them all located in the same vicinity in a way that you know how to put it back exactly the way that you removed it from the phone. I recommend a magnetic mat to keep track of all the screws so they don't fall somewhere. If you don't have a magnetic mat, then a regular project mat will do, or double-sided tape, masking tape. This metal plate is secured by 4 screws. Once you have all 4 screws off, you will see 3 connectors. That is your LCD screen, your digitizer, and your backlight. Be very gentle when you pop these off, but they should pop off just like so. place that to the side. Next, we're going to remove the metal back plate on the back, the home flex cable, and the speaker port on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the speaker on top. And that is secured by 2 screws. And that comes off just like so. Just pops off just like so. Try not to be too rough. Next, we're going to remove the home button and flex cable that connects the home sensor. Again, I don't have my regular set of tools, so bear with me as I try to manage without. Okay. So for the iPhone 5S, you have 2 separate components when removing the home button. You have the initial home button flex cable, and you also have the flex cable for the fingerprint sensor. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and apply a little heat to the top of the screen to help remove the adhesive on the back. And as you can see, it just pops right out. Now I'm going to ahead and remove the 6 screws on the side. Correction, 5 screws of the metal back plate on the back. That way I can get the rest of the home button assembly. In some cases, you will come across devices that have been attempted to be repaired by somebody else, and they will in return damage their repair. And so in those cases, some of the screws will be stripped, making it harder for the next person to fix. The back plate is held on by a small film. And so we're removing that, try to be gentle. It's just a small piece of tape. Peel back lightly. And now you're going to apply some heat to the top to remove the camera. This allows you to separate the camera, the speaker, from the home. Just place that to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of the home button assembly. Place a little heat in the bottom corner. It's going to be a little tacky.
Pause.